So, what do Justin Bieber, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Michael Phelps all have in common? Besides being ridiculously successful at what they do, they each spend time in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. Picture a sleek, pressurized pod that looks like a mini spaceship. You climb in, zip, or latch the door. The air pressure rises to 1.5 or sometimes even 3 times normal atmospheric pressure, and you breathe nearly pure oxygen for about an hour. That's it. Yet people swear by it for faster recovery, sharper focus, and an overall glow-up that apparently beats any green juice on the planet. Here's the science in plain English. Under high pressure, oxygen doesn't just fill your lungs. It dissolves into your blood plasma, your lymph fluid, even the cerebrospinal fluid around your brain. One peer-reviewed study out of Israel in 2020 showed that this pressure plus oxygen combo can raise tissue oxygen levels by up to 1,000% for a short window. When your tissues are that saturated, stem cell activity spikes, inflammation drops, and new blood vessels start sprouting like tiny repair crews. That's why elite athletes climb in after brutal workouts or injuries. They're literally flooding sore muscles with extra fuel for healing. Now let's talk FDA. As of 2025, the agency officially backs hyperbaric oxygen therapy, HBOT for short, for 14 medical indications. Those include stubborn diabetic foot ulcers, radiation burns, flesh-eating infections, and decompression sickness. You know, the bends that divers get. We also have data on burn victims. Clinical trials show that hyperbaric oxygen therapy can cut healing time by nearly 40%. Surgeons noticed this and started recommending it to cosmetic surgery patients to help shrink swelling and bruising. So, yeah, that day after facelift Instagram you saw might actually owe its lack of raccoon eyes to just an hour in the tube. But CEOs, well, they're chasing something a bit different, a cognitive edge. A small pilot trial at Louisiana State University tracked veterans with mild traumatic brain injury. After 41-hour sessions, the subjects boosted their processing speed by roughly 15% and reported better sleep and mood too. The Financial Times even quoted execs who swear a lunchtime dive into the chamber clears mental fog better than espresso. We're still waiting on larger studies, but early imaging shows HBOT can wake up dormant brain cells around old injury sites by re-oxygenating tissue that was basically running on fumes. Sounds magical, right? Well, hold up. Too much oxygen under pressure can backfire. Over-oxygenation may trigger seizures in rare cases, and people with untreated lung disease or ear pressure problems can end up with a ruptured eardrum or a collapsed lung, neither of which looks cute on your wellness bingo card. That's why reputable clinics screen you first. You know, they check your lungs, your ears, even your blood sugar, because high oxygen can actually shift glucose levels. And about those home units you keep seeing online for $5,000, most are what they call mild chambers that max out at 1.3 ATA, so barely above normal air pressure, and they still carry a fire risk if you slip up with electrical devices inside. The FDA has actually logged several house fire incidents and even one suffocation death linked to DIY chambers. So if you're tempted to build one in your garage because you saw it on TikTok, please just don't. Get a medical referral, go to a certified facility, and let professionals monitor the pressure, oxygen purity, and your vitals. So, cost-wise, a single session in a private clinic runs anywhere from $150 to $400 in the US, and you know, most protocols suggest 20 to 40 dives for chronic issues. Insurance only covers it if you fall under those FDA-approved conditions, otherwise, it's out of pocket. That said, the global hyperbaric market was valued at about $3 billion in 2024 and is growing at roughly 7% a year, so clearly demand is rising despite the price tag. What about long COVID? Early data from a 2023 Israeli trial showed significant improvement in fatigue and brain fog scores after 40 sessions, but researchers admit it's preliminary. So, it's kind of the same story with aging. A study using cognitive tests and MRI scans claims that HBOT actually lengthened telomeres, you know, those little chromosome caps linked to longevity, by about 20% after 3 months. Sounds impressive, but the sample size was 35 people, so let's not declare it the fountain of youth just yet. Here's my bottom line. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is not snake oil. It's legit medicine for burns, chronic wounds, and certain infections. For performance, cognition, and wellness, the evidence is promising but still emerging. If you're curious, get evaluated, find a certified center, and treat it like any other medical procedure, not a spa gimmick. And until we have bigger randomized trials on things like Alzheimer's plaques or long-term brain optimization, I'd file HBOT under potentially awesome adjunct, not miracle cure. So yes, Justin, Ronaldo, and Phelps might be onto something, but they also have doctors monitoring every breath. If you decide to step into the chamber, make sure you do too. Like, subscribe, and drop your questions below, especially if you've tried HBOT yourself. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully smelling less like canned oxygen and more like solid science.